So trying to get a macro video of your eye is super fun, but I have brown eyes, so I had to let the sun shine directly into my left eye, and I kept missing focus and stuff. So needless to say, don't stare at the sun for longer than like 5 seconds because it hurts. It really does. So yeah, let's talk about macro photography or even macro shots within video. What is it exactly and why should you even care about it? Well, I'm going to cover that and also get to a quick game of guess what you're looking at, macro photography edition, and also for sure stick around because I'm going to give some recommendations on gear, like which lens to buy to get awesome photos. So let's get into it. So first off, macro photography is extremely close-up photography where the photo is larger than life size. Just as an example, imagine I take a photo of a teeny tiny little ant, but of course in the photo, it's gonna look way bigger than it actually is. Kind of like the movie Ant-Man where they actually enlarge the ant, but of course that's actually making it larger, but macro photography is making it appear larger in photos. The goal is to capture your subject at a very, very up close distance, preferably with a specialized lens like a macro lens, because those can achieve a reproduction ratio of 1:1, which pretty much just helps with like sense of scale, how close you can get to your subject, etc. So definitely keep in mind that not all lenses are built for macro/close-up photography. Like I mentioned, there are special macro lenses like this Sony 90mm f2.8 lens that are built for getting up close. And as you can see here on the barrel, it even tells you the ratio, so 1:1, and then all the way to 1:10. And it really helps with manually focusing and getting your subject in focus. This one has a very short minimum focus distance, plus again, it's 90mm, so it's very zoomed in. But usually if it's not a macro specified lens and it's around 85mm, 90mm, the minimum focus distance is like 3 feet. How much is this? Like, I think that's 3 feet. So it's a very large area that you have to be away from your subject in order for them to be in focus. So if you're into photography, unfortunately, you know that photography gear can get pricey real quick. So this one is $1,100. So what I say most of the time is that first and foremost, you want to check if your phone has a lens that sort of functions like a macro lens, or I know that some phones actually have a designated like, this is a macro lens, this is the only reason you should use it. I think a new Samsung like S21 might have one, but yeah, a lot of times like you can use one of these cameras to get real close to your subject. So use your phone, take a ton of photos, and see if you really want to invest into a specific lens that can help you take even better photos down the line. And if you do want to move forward and get an actual lens, I highly recommend the Sony 50mm macro lens. It's around half of the price of this one, around 500 bucks, but of course it can be lower if you buy used like I do, so you could probably get it for like 400 bucks. Now to finish off this whole technical talk, I quickly want to go through how I take a macro photo, because of course it's sort of like a regular photo, but with greater attention to detail. Getting the right focus can be more challenging just because you have less room to play with since you're zooming in on like a specific little area or little subject. So again, like the whole ant example that I gave before, or even in the very beginning, like trying to get the details of my eye, I kind of failed like most of the time, which is why I had to keep staring at the sun so that I could keep trying to get it right. Number one, you want to get a tripod because your camera has to be as stable as possible so that your photos come out sharp and you can manual focus comfortably. Because number two, you want to switch to manual focus to control at all times what is in focus, because if not, your camera might struggle, you know, focusing on this and then that and hunting and doing all of that. And lastly, number three, I would have the aperture set to something pretty slow like f11 or slower, so that the front to back distance is like thicker than like a loose leaf, because again, you're gonna have to manually focus and set everything very precisely so that you can get the photo that you want. So before I tell you why I think macro photography is useful to you, I quickly want to say that you should follow my IG to keep up with the photos that I take, but also consider subscribing to the channel so you can see future videos. But okay, why would it be useful to you? Product photography is honestly everywhere because of all the products that are being sold. It's really prominent in that area. So if you're ever going to sell something or maybe take photos for a client, like product photos, it's going to be very, very useful. Or even when it comes to nature, of course, there's a ton of photographers that specialize in photographing small animals and stuff like that. So if you want to go the opposite way, so instead of capturing huge landscapes and cityscapes and instead focusing on the smaller details, well, there you go, macro photography might be for you. So now let's play a quick guessing game. I'm gonna have a shot on the screen, give you guys a few seconds to guess what you think it is, and then I'm gonna pull back and reveal what it is. So at the end, make sure you comment how many you got right. So cool, that was macro photography for you guys. If you have any more questions, make sure you reach out or comment below. And I strongly encourage you guys to check out the links below because there's links to other videos that might help you if you're into photography. So thanks for watching. I'm Ricky and I'll see you guys in the next one.